Hello everyone, my name is Arthur, and I'm the creator of the Atomicals protocol. I want to thank the hosts and organizers of the Web3 Festival who helped make this conference a reality, and I want to give a special thanks to everyone who invited me for this opportunity to speak with you all today. It is my honor and pleasure to connect and share with you. The title of my talk is Expanding the Bitcoin Universe. Some of you are already familiar with Atomicals, but many of you are new. So I'm going to give a bit of a high-level overview of the different features of Atomicals and also some of the upcoming plans. There will be something new even for those who are familiar, and hopefully a high enough level overview for newcomers to learn more and dive deeper later. Let's begin. What are Atomicals? Simply put, Atomicals are a powerful way to create and organize your digital value, digital matter. The uses of Atomicals are digital art, collectibles, metaverse and game assets. Anything can be tokenized on Bitcoin with Atomicals, from entire communities, social profiles, websites, really any file and media, anything of value can be tokenized with Atomicals. At a high level, Atomicals has three major areas: non-fungible tokens, digital objects, fungible tokens, ARC20, and the upcoming smart contracts known as Atomicals Virtual Machine or AVM. So, as mentioned, Atomicals NFTs are called digital objects, and we call them digital objects because Atomicals is about programmable digital objects, being able to update your digital assets on Bitcoin. So, in contrast with digital artifacts or digital collectibles, which has static media or primarily meant for trade, Atomicals NFTs are meant for dynamic data and being able to create new experiences that evolve over time. Of course, Atomicals NFTs can be created for collectibles, but we go beyond that. We can support multiple files. It really turns Bitcoin into a global database, a key value storage system, and being able to provide a complete version history of all the updates that went into that digital object. So you can imagine Bitcoin is your data state, and you can go back and see all the different revisions because everything is stored on the Bitcoin blockchain itself. So you can have event feeds, so you can publish updates to your social feed and followers. Any information stream can be published on Bitcoin itself and played back and monitored in real time. Really anything can be tokenized, and everything of value, I argue, should be tokenized. And that's what Atomicals was created for, was to be able to give digital real value to your content. Moving along quickly, fungible tokens on Atomicals are known as the ARC20 standard. It is the world's first token standard that's backed by the digital gold content of Bitcoin itself. We call this the Satoshi token standard, and they're digital gold infused tokens. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that each token unit is backed by one Satoshi, because the tokens, ARC20 tokens, are fundamentally Bitcoins. They're just tagged with the token ticker, with any metadata, with an icon, but you can split and combine them just like normal Bitcoin because they are normal Bitcoins. So, as an example, to create a billion units of the example token, you must have at least 10 BTC worth of Satoshis, collateralizing or substantiating that token supply. So this has some interesting consequences, because it means that to create a token, you need to have a certain amount of Bitcoin up front that you put into the token supply to breathe life into it. It means that you can't just create a token with a trillion supply that's backed by nothing. You actually have to give it intrinsic value with the digital gold content of Bitcoin itself. It also means that the token supply value cannot go below Bitcoin itself, because you can always melt down the token and extract the Satoshis themselves. Kind of like how you would have jewelry or like a gold watch that stops working or you no longer have use for the watch, you can always melt it down and extract the digital gold content from that watch. And that's how ARC20 functions as well. Let's see what that looks like in a flow. We start with some Bitcoin, and we take some of that Bitcoin and tag some of the Satoshis, and we deploy MyCoin. And so the supply of tokens of MyCoin is backed by a certain amount of Bitcoin Satoshis. A nice image is added and metadata for the project, and we call it MyCoin in this hypothetical example. And this token can be transferred just like regular Bitcoins to other wallets. So here we can split and send part of the supply to Alice and part of it to Bob. And Alice and Bob's wallet will recognize that these are ARC20 token Satoshis that sit alongside the Bitcoins in their wallets. Of course, the wallets can have many different types of ARC20 tokens and differentiate between each of them. Underneath, they're all still Satoshis, but these Satoshis have special value because they've been tagged or backed by the ticker symbol that represents the Satoshis. A world of tokens is now a reality that is infused and backed by the digital gold content of Bitcoin itself. We created this because we wanted a real, true to Satoshi token system on Bitcoin. This has been a long-standing problem in Bitcoin. It was called the colored coins problem. There's been many attempts to create a token standard on Bitcoin, and they've all kind of failed or fizzled out for different reasons. And ARC20 represents the ultimate conclusion of that long-standing experiment from 10 years ago when it was first mentioned by Hal Finney. Hal Finney mentioned that Bitcoin itself could be used as an overlay, network, and other tokens and digital assets could ride on top of Bitcoin itself and give special meaning. And so we want to create that system because this is the truest expression of Bitcoin tokens by using the Satoshi itself as representing the supply of the tokens. And there's been a tremendous retail adoption, developer and wallet and marketplace adoption of this standard. And we're just really excited to see this grow because fundamentally it's Bitcoin at the core. It's not another standard. It's not another blockchain. It's just using Bitcoin itself in a way that also gives it extra meaning. Up next is smart contracts. The Atomicals virtual machine is a smart contract system and a decentralized indexer operating on Bitcoin layer 1. It gives a high-level programming language, a private contract state, and everything's 100% on-chain from the logic and the data. That's why we call it layer 1. There is no second layer, there's no side chain, there's no other token. There's just the data on the Bitcoin blockchain itself. We call smart contracts in AVM, they're called reactors. AVM's capabilities give complete developer flexibility to write custom rules for the minting of NFT collections, creation of ARC20, combining them in any way imaginable, swap, stake, deposit, withdraw. In developer speak, we call this Turing complete, which just means that anything you can imagine, you can create. You can use the system with complete flexibility. It is smart contracts on Bitcoin, finally. We use the payable keyword in the contract methods to be able to indicate that the contract can pay or have ARC20 tokens deposited into it. Ethereum developers will recognize this because in Ethereum, smart contract methods can be marked payable to indicate that you can send Ethereum into the smart contract. And so we use the payable keyword to indicate that ARC20 tokens can be deposited into the contract, effectively turning ARC20 into mini currencies that can be used in the Reactor smart contracts. Let's take a look at a reactor. The reactors are deployed on chain and they operate according to the logic that the developer created. And the life cycle is we just put it on chain, deploy the reactor, and users can interact by calling methods of the reactor, such as deposits and withdrawals, and state updates are handled automatically by the indexer. A more concrete example, we have a crowdfunding contract, which allows a deployer to collect funds from users. Users can deposit any ARC20 and write an optional message. They can also withdraw the ARC20 tokens if they change their mind about their contribution. And at the end of the crowdfund, the owner can close the crowdfund and withdraw the ARC20 tokens. Let's take a look at that. So tokens can be deposited into the reactor to methods that are marked payable. The internal token table tracks the balances controlled by the reactor, supports ARC20 and NFT deposits, which is interesting because if NFTs are deposited, you can create a staking system. So, for example, by depositing NFTs to a contract, you can give special awards to people for the duration of time that they've locked their NFTs into the contract, for example. It really opens up a lot of possibilities. That's never happened before. And tokens are effectively taken out of circulation and bound to the internal state of the reactor until withdrawn. The reactor's public methods can be called to execute the logic, and tokens are withdrawn if the rules are followed and the token balance is sufficient. How does it all work? Well, at a high level, the reactor code is put on chain immutably as a digital object, and indexers recognize the code, read the Bitcoin data, and initialize the contract code all in the same way. Because the data is on chain, everyone has the same view of the data, we can be certain that they're going to arrive at the same state. As transactions are made and methods are called, the indexers update their own local state that represent the latest state of the contract from all the transactions that they've observed on the blockchain. Indexers produce a hash during each block update phase to represent their view of the world. So if one of the indexers goes out of sync because maybe they're running a different version of the code or there's a bug, you can quickly identify that the hash is different and they could be rolled back, the problem fixed, and then rolled forward to make sure that they all agree with each other, that they have the same view of the data. Because the data is on chain and everyone executes according to the same rules, they're guaranteed to arrive at the same state. That's what makes this decentralized indexing system so effective and so simple. Some of the extra capabilities of AVM, because it is a layer 1 solution, it can also act as a building block for third-party rollups and a bridge or gateway to other layer 2 solutions, and even an agent network for meta consensus and other meta protocols. The purpose of AVM is to be a layer 1 solution. I'm just highlighting here that because it is so effective at being a layer 1 solution, it can also serve as a building block for other layered solutions. Our goal is to make smart contracts on Bitcoin common and frequent so that we increase the number of transactions on the base layer, increase the miner security budget so that we can provide a really robust layer 1 network and a good security budget for the Bitcoin miners to secure Bitcoin's future. Join us in expanding the universe of possibilities on Bitcoin. We are so excited to release this. This has been a work of passion for years, and it's culminating finally in a release of AVM. If you're a developer or a creator, or you just have any questions, please reach out to us. We love to hear from you. We thank you, the audience, for your time and for your interest to learn about us. And we really look forward to sharing this with you and hearing what all of you think about this when it's live. So look for the public AVM beta early May, and follow us on Twitter at Atomicals XYZ. And let's expand the Bitcoin universe together. Thank you so much.